Hey guys, today I have another Walk-In Wednesday video for you because I had a very rare gun walk in the door. I rarely see them, so I thought I'd show it to you. And this gun is a Swedish contract P.38. So it's a very early gun, Swedish contract. For those of you who collect P.38s, I know you're thinking I don't do enough P.38s. I got to start pulling them out of the safe. But those of you who do collect P.38s, you're aware of the Swedish contract, and you're also aware that they're very hard to find. One of the reasons is they only made, well, this contract, the first contract, they only made about 700 to 800 guns. Second contract, they made about 500 guns. So that's a very rare gun by any definition. But the other issue is there are Swedish Americans who like to hoard these guns. I shouldn't say hoard. Every time they get one, they buy it, they put it away, and never sell it. So that's part of the problem. It's very much like the Polish community, Polish-American community. They like to buy Radums and put them away. And whenever I see somebody with lots of beautiful Radums, they're usually Polish-American, and they usually will never sell their guns. So those Polish-Americans, you know who I'm talking to. But the Swedish Americans do the exact same thing. They like to buy these guns and keep them for themselves. Now, I can't say that I blame Swedish Americans or Polish Americans a bit. I would probably do the same thing. And these are absolutely stunning guns. I have actually two of them. This one just came in recently, so that's what prompted me to show it to you. But then I also have one that has unit markings for the Swedish Army. You can see the condition of these guns are going to be beautiful. And that's generally because, just like the Swiss Lugers, when you see a Swiss Luger, they're almost always in beautiful condition because they remained neutral through the war. The Army was supplied with handguns and rifles, but generally they were not used very much at all. The same way with the Swedish Army. I know people in Sweden did pick sides, meaning they either sided personally with the Allies or the Germans, sympathetic to them, but the government was officially neutral. So they stayed out of any major conflicts or battles. Therefore, all that is to say, these guns are usually in beautiful condition. Let's take a look over my shoulder now and check out these two guns and what makes them distinct. Okay, I'll start off with telling you about this book. And by the way, great Christmas present. We have these available on our website, the P.38 Pistol by Alex Krutchek. Highly recommend the book, and it goes over all the different variations. And of course, it talks about the early Swedish variation. So a couple things that I want to show you. One is this unit marking. The I-6 is Infantry Division 6 and then gun number that was issued. I'm going to show you one like that. Most of the Swedish guns that you will see will not have that unit marking. So that probably adds a little bit of value because it shows you what infantry division it comes from. So they're either I marked as a unit, or it also says that they can be KS marked. Now the KS, if you think my German was bad, my Swedish is, well, I think it's fantastic, but you may not agree. Krigsskolan, or Krigsskolan, something. Something like that, which just means war college. That's intuitive. Kriegs being battle or war, and skolan, school. So the war college, I have never seen a KS marked gun. So a couple things that make them distinct, and then I'll show you the gun. First of all, they always have a prefix of an H, which may stand for Hare or Army. So the prefix and the serial range, you can see the serial range here. They always will fall in that serial range. They're the only ones that have the prefix of H. But I'm going to go back a couple of pages because 270 is the estimate for the ones that are unit marked. But if we go back 2 pages, it's the same serial range, starts with an H, and there's about 730 that were made. Also distinct is you'll see that they're crown and marked, and that is very, very rare. It's 1939, and of course, production really ramped up in 1940. So 1940 was the first year they really were kicking out a lot of P.38s, and very few were produced in 1939. So before they changed over to the Eagle End proof, these are marked Crown Ann, and there's a couple other features I want to show you. I also wanted to point out that there is a Swedish gun. Some of them, the early guns, early commercial guns, and the Swedish contract, there are some wood wood grips, which are very, very rare. And one of the reasons I mention that is I have a set of wood grips. There are actually several different styles of wooden grips, but this is a pre-war, very early wooden grip. I've seen these on .30 caliber, early commercials, and then there is a picture here of wooden grips with the Swedish gun. I got these from one of our viewers, one of our YouTube viewers from England. Got these and offered them to me. So I don't currently need them. If you have an early gun or you have wooden grips that are cracked or broken, just contact us. These will be for sale privately. I probably won't even put them on the website, but I wanted to make you aware that I do have a spare set of extremely rare wood grips. So I discussed the first variation. Now, if we take a look at the second variation, the only way to know that is second variation and not just a standard commercial Walther gun is through the serial range. So this is the serial range. There's only 500 made in the second variation, and they don't have any, there's no H in the beginning. It's the standard eagle end proof, and so these were made after 1940. And after the second contract, the war was ramping up. There were no more issued to Sweden because Germany wanted to use them for their war effort. So let's take a look at the gun itself. Okay, so this is one of the first contracts. I already mentioned that. And the important issue would be the H. So if you're at a show or you're looking at a collection, the H in the beginning is a Swedish contract. And then right here, you see the crown end proof, and that means it was made before 1940. So this is one of the earliest contracts. The only other guns that you will see with the crown end is very few commercial guns and the very earliest of the 0 series. So the 0 series was a German military contract. And the 0 series, the first variation, came out with a hidden extractor. Well, here's a picture of one. Hidden extractor, and that's called the first variation. And they also have a rectangular firing pin. You can see here the rectangular firing pin. So only the very earliest guns, and then they went to the standard circular, as you can see here. So on the Swedish guns, you'll see the rectangular firing pin. You will not see the hidden extractor because it was after that first variation 0 series. I do that a lot. I close the hammer on my glove. But it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt a bit. And notice the very beautiful high polish finish, excellent condition. Again, a reflection of it being issued to the most likely Swedish military, but hardly ever used. Look at the front strap. That's one of the first things to go. Also, I mentioned the firing pin, the crown end. The serial number will be here on the frame. It's on the slide, but it's internal. So if you take the slide off and look inside, you'll see the serial number stamped there. It's also stamped on the barrel, and they were issued with 2 matching magazines. This one is a Swedish magazine, and you can tell from the serial number it falls in the Swedish range, but it does not match. Close, but does not match. The next one I'm going to show you does have a matching serial number. They do come in 9mm. Also, the crown end will be on well, let's just take a look. Yeah, actually all I had to do is pull the slide back, and you can see the crown end on the barrel and the crown end on the locking block. And by the way, when they went to eagle end, the same thing happened. The barrel and the locking block would be eagle end. Also, the locking block has the last 3 digits of the serial number on the locking block. So this is an all-matching number Swedish contract, beautiful gun. And everything matching with the exception of the correct magazine, which is not matching but is Swedish contract. Now let's take a look at the next one. Now this is the condition of the holsters. I've probably seen a dozen holsters like this. The Swedish holster is a unique style. It not your typical P.38 holster, so it was made especially for this contract. So it has the police style closure where from bottom up. Here's a comparison of a beautiful, actually mint. I got this and I thought this can't be real, but it actually is. P.38 went to the German army in 1943 and is Waffen stamped. You can see the style of a hard shell. Here's what we call a soft shell. So it's certainly very different, a lot cheaper, but that was used later in the war. But this is a 1943 hard shell, beautiful condition. It does have the name, most likely the GI that brought it back, because that looks like a GI number, and Merkowitz doesn't sound like a German, but I guess that's possible. Back to the Swedish holster, you can see the difference in style. The I-19, according to the book, that's the regiment. I is the regiment 19, and then the serial number of the gun, which does not match this gun, but I also wanted to show you how many people had this as were issued this gun. Several different people. First of all, we see Hans is stamped in here. This ends in Berg. I can't really read it, but ends in Berg. So this could be a Swede. This could be a Swede. And Roger Morin, I don't think that would be, but I could be wrong. Those of you who are Swedish, you can weigh in. But there's 3 different people who owned this gun or were issued this gun, and they stamped their name on it now. Again, beautiful holster. Let's take a look at the gun itself. All right, similar condition. You see the H prefix. You see the crown N, so 1939, not 1940, which was more normal production. You see the I-6, which is the same as the regiment in the book. Infantry Division number 6, and then the gun number that was issued. So that's like a rack number. This one you do see wear on the front strap. You almost see the fingerprints here. So somebody had a sweaty grip and put their fingerprints on the front strap, but otherwise it's beautiful. Numbered here, and then again on the inside of the slide. If we pull the slide back, there's grease here. It needs to be cleaned up, but you can see the crown end here and the crown end here. Comes in 9mm, of course, if I failed to mention that. Comes in 9mm. Oh, this is easier. When I pull the slide back, you can see the rectangular firing pin, but the exposed extractor. I mentioned the magazine, numbered in the exact same style, and you can see it's 1930, and this is 1930. So this has a matching magazine. It has the correct holster, but numbered to a different gun. So these all fall within the correct range for a Swedish contract P.38, which was a 1939 very early contract. The second contract, which was only 500 guns, was then in 1940. One other thing I wanted to say about the Swedish contract guns, not only was it P.38s, there were obviously, we know about Swedish contract Lugers, but I also did a video much earlier, one of my earliest videos, on Swedish contract PPs and PPKs. Now, those are specially marked Statens Vapenvapen. There's Statens, I just call it the Statens gun, but they basically went to the Swedish Water Authority. So it was the Water Authority were issued guard guns, both PPs and PPKs. Those are also very rare, and you can see the special markings on them. They also do gun number, and they're numbered, and I think there was only about 30 of them that went to the factory guards. But those are specially marked Swedish guns, also bought around the same time period between 1938 and about 1940. Hey, that was kind of a quickie, and I know you guys like quickies. We'll try to bang out a few before Christmas, because I have a lot more guns to show you. So make sure you like and subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned.